I'm here with my dad once again, and we are recapping Vampire Diaries.
VP!
VD!
VD, yeah.
Yeah, VD. So, I don't know if you guys, had this problem in your area, but for some reason, the sound was, really off in this episode. I had to make sure that the captions were turned on and pretty much know what was going on.
The mix was off. For some reason, they had the audio was louder than the words. All you could hear was music.
Yeah. So I don't know if anybody else experienced that, but
In the Chicagoland, they messed us up.
yeah. I'm like, okay, what's going on here?
It's not right.
It's
not right.
Angry about that, Dad?
Very upset.
Alright, so this week's episode was called Man on Fire, and we can pretty much guess why it was called Man on Fire. Enzo was pretty upset, and yeah.
Yeah, so this episode, we start off, the travelers have basically invaded Mystic Falls, and they have taken over a lot of people. I won't say everybody. I think they mostly have taken over the adults.
Yeah, they took over a lot of the elders.
Yeah, the older people. They left the teenagers alone. So if you're a teenager, you're safe. So anyway, they've taken over and they have an agenda, okay? Their agenda is they're trying to not be a traveler anymore. They want to be a regular human being, which is kind of weird because they are kind of a regular human being, except they go to body and they kind of live forever because once the other body gets old or they get tired of it, they just move to another body. So I don't know what the big complaint is.
Yeah, that sounds kind of cool to me. But I guess they're upset because they just want to stay in one area. They just want to...
Yeah, this is the first time that they ever were able to congregate together and be like a whole people. And be in one place. Otherwise, they got to travel around. And I guess they got to find new bodies all the time. So I guess that's kind of a hassle. But anyway, if you remember last episode, they destroyed the last traveler knife. And what happens with the traveler knife is that if you kill a traveler, if a traveler has inherited somebody's body, if you kill that person with the traveler knife, then the traveler dies and the person gets his body back. Otherwise, I'm not sure what happens when a traveler goes to another body. I think his old body dies. We said before, the traveler's on an agenda. They're trying to get a regular life. So this is how they do it. They what happens is they have to have a hybrid, and so they got Tyler, and they were somehow able to put a traveler in Tyler's body. And if they take a hybrid's blood and they put it, someone drinks the hybrid's blood, they died and they become a vampire. And I'm not sure if they're a hybrid vampire or they're just a regular vampire.
I thought if they drank Elena and Damon's blood, they become...
No, well, this is the process. They first have to drink the hybrid's blood.
Okay.
Okay. And then they have to get killed, and then they become a vampire.
Okay.
And then they have to be given Elena and Stefan's, who are the two last doppelgangers, blood. And if that happens, then they can become human, regular humans. Oh. Except something else happens where they die right away.
I think it was just because they had cut her neck. If they're in the form, if they're in a form before turning into a vampire, whatever human form they're in before they turn into a vampire, then that's how they'll die. So the guy cut her neck.
Yeah, but you got to be killed in order to become a vampire.
Oh, that's stupid. How are they gonna fix that?
I don't know. They didn't quite explain that part. It's a little up in the air.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, they have to die to become a vampire.
Yeah, because they did this experiment with one girl, and she, she was regular human, and then she just kind of croaked right there. And they somehow thought they could fix that problem. Whatever the problem is, they think they can fix it from now on. So Bonnie is a bit concerned because the hybrids are also trying to destroy, the other side. And she's concerned that if the other side gets destroyed, besides, her grandmother and the witches and the other people that are over there get destroyed, that she also may die because she's halfway, she's halfway on the other side and halfway in this side. So she's worried about that, but she doesn't want to let on to anybody to show that she's worried, but that's definitely on her mind.
Oh, yeah.
So then we turn to Enzo, and Enzo has a little beef with the vampires. Apparently he fell in love with this girl named Maggie Grace, who was a sister when he was in prison at the Institute. And he fell in love with her. And as a matter of fact, he made her escape, get out of there. He actually ended up compelling her. He kind of tricked her. She had like a vervain bracelet on. And he snatched the bracelet off of her and then compelled her to get out of there because otherwise she was too much of a temptation. She was offering to let him suck her blood so that he have enough strength to break out of there. And which sounded like a good plan to me. I mean, why couldn't he just break out? I guess he was concerned that he couldn't get away with it or something like that. So anyway, he found out that in 1959 or the early 60s, I think it was 59 or something like that, Maggie got killed. And the way she got killed, it looks like a vampire did it. And he thinks that Stephen is the vampire that did it. So he goes... Stefan. So he goes through this whole elaborate plan. He takes them to... Because it starts out, Stefan was studying at Elena's college. And Enzo showed up early, compelled everybody. And plus he compelled some people to take that blonde witch's brother captive. And he threatened to kill the brother if the witch didn't cooperate with him, because he needs somebody to help him subdue Stephen and Elena. So he ties them up, and then he starts interrogating Stephen about how Stefan. Though they just couldn't call him Stephen. Stefan, to try to find out if he killed Maggie Grace or not. And he gets him in a situation where he's getting ready to kill Bonnie just about. And so Stefan says, okay, I did it. So he says, good, I'm going to make you suffer now. So then he's jabbing a stake in Stefan's heart, torturing him, not quite killing him. And of course, Damon finds out, and he comes to try to rescue him. And he says, hey, look, Enzo, I'm the one that killed her. I didn't know, what she was trying to do. Because what she was trying to do, this Maggie Grace, was she wanted to kill Damon because she thinks that, well, she was kind of right, that Damon had left Enzo in the jail and he was responsible for the fire, and she's thinking that Enzo is dead, so she's trying to get revenge. So her plan was to drug Damon and then kill him. Of course, Damon was too fast for her, and he got her hand before she was able to inject him, and then he just ripped her head off.
It was just like, ugh. He was just holding the head up, and her body just falls to the ground. I'm like, oh.
Which, is kind of what Damon does.
And see, Enzo, I think he should have turned to Maggie. I mean, he pretty much was in love with her. Why not turn her? You want her around forever.
Well,
why not turn her?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you're going to be a vampire and you're in love with some mortal, I mean, eventually, this relationship is not going to work because they're going to be getting older and you're not. So, man, you might as well eventually turn her anyway. I mean, I can understand initially he didn't want to because, first of all, she's already young and cute, so why turn her? And secondly, he likes her as there is, and he knows that once she becomes a vampire, they're going to change, kind of like Elena did initially. So.
Yeah, Elena did wild out there for a little bit, though.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Big time. So anyway, Damon admits to Enzo that he killed Maggie Grace. Enzo wants to be mad at Damon. He wants to be mad at Damon, but that's the last friend he's got. if he gets rid of Damon, he has no friend at all. So what he decides to do is just like Damon did years ago, he turns his emotions off. Which is kind of weird. So he turns his emotions off so he doesn't feel anything. But apparently he must feel something because he's still trying to get revenge.
Right.
So I don't know.
I don't think you completely turn them off.
So
there must be like a switch. Is it all the way off?
Well, that's what Damon says is a switch. It must be like a dimmer. So Enzo turns his emotions off. And then he goes and he captures Elena and runs out the door. And he also kind of injures the blonde witch. Okay. So Damon immediately runs after them, and Stefan stays to give the witch some of his blood so she'll heal because she looked like she was dying. And so now Stefan's in pursuit of Enzo and Elena, and Damon's in pursuit. But Stefan gets there fast and first, even though they're both fast. And there's a scuffle. Elena gets knocked out. Well, actually, Enzo killed her, but she's a vampire. She's gonna come back anyway.
Right.
And so there's a struggle between Enzo and Stefan, and people are always saying, Stefan! So every time I say Steven, they say, Stefan! Why can't you get it right? It's Stefan! Alright, so Stefan and Enzo get into a struggle. They're at a standoff, except Enzo's got gas on the thing, which I guess that's part of Man on Fire. I mean, Enzo was Man on Fire because he was, a man on fire about this Maggie Grace thing. Right. And at the end, he's Man on Fire because he's getting ready to set them both on fire. He also had this lighter that he got from Maggie Grace. She must have been a smoker because, there was no other reason for you to carry a lighter other than that.
Everybody was smoking back
in the 50s, yeah. Anyway, so they're at a standstill. Enzo's got the lighter, and they're both covered with gasoline, so he's going to burn them both up. And Stefan's got Enzo's heart in his hand. So Enzo says, well, I know. Maybe you just can't make logical decisions when you got this switch turned off. I know the ultimate revenge. I'll let Steven kill me, and then that way there'll be a fight between him and Damon. So he snatches back his body. Stefan had his hand on Enzo's heart, thereby ripping his heart out and Enzo dying. So then Stefan realizes that if he tells Damon that he killed Enzo, it is going to be a big problem. So he finds Enzo's phone and just leaves a message for Damon, letting him know, oh, hey, dude, everything's cool. I'm just going to go on a trip.
Now, this is so stupid because, you know, eventually, what's his name?
Enzo? Damon?
Yeah, you know eventually Damon is going to find out. Like,
Right.
Come on now.
Oh, yeah. They always find out.
Yeah.
They always find out. So then, you know, since Enzo was a vampire, he's got to go to the other side. So to go to the other side, he's got to go through Bonnie. So Stefan calls up Bonnie and tells her, hey, listen, Enzo's coming through, but I don't want Damon to know or anybody to know that he's dead because I want him to think that he's alive. So, you know, just don't let anybody know there's this Enzo. So Enzo comes and he talks me to Bonnie, and then he seems to be passing through her body. Okay. So now we're at the end, the prelude, and turns out somehow Enzo's still alive. And he's still talking about not alive, but he's dead.
On the other side or whatever.
You know what I think? I think that he either didn't really go through Bonnie, but how did he do that? I don't know. Somehow he's walking around as a spirit still.
Yeah, because once they go through Bonnie, that's it. We don't see him anymore.
You don't see him
we
anymore.
Haven't seen Catherine.
Nobody. Once they go through Bonnie, they're supposed to be on the other side, and we don't see him anymore. He either pretended to go through Bonnie and didn't. Although I don't know how you do that, because I thought that was automatically you had to go through Bonnie, but apparently not in this case. So Enzo is still saying that he's going to get his revenge. Although I thought he got his revenge already, but I guess...
Right, that's what I'm like, too. Like, didn't you already get your revenge by killing yourself?
Yeah.
Like, what else are you trying to do?
I don't know. It's obviously when you flip that switch, it does something in your brain. You're just not as intelligent as you used to be. So Enzo is still now focused on this revenge, which you would say, hey, isn't that a feeling? You're supposed to have your feelings turned off.
That's true.
But I don't know. Maybe he did it wrong.
Obviously, he flipped the wrong switch.
Yeah, he must have flipped the wrong switch. I think he flipped the intelligence switch or something because he didn't do it right. And that was pretty much the end. So next week we'll see what happens. But I don't know, that was kind of weird. There were some weird things going on in there. So next week we'll see what happens with the Travelers. We'll see what happens with their experiment. One of the things they said is they need more blood, which means they need more doppelganger blood, which means they need Stephen and Elena. Stefan. They probably yelled at me again. You were supposed to say Stefan! So they're going to have to get their bodies again and drain them of blood somehow. I don't know. So the Travelers are the new villain. The saga continues. Yep.
Alright guys, so thanks for tuning in to this week's recap. Remember to comment, rate, and subscribe. And we will talk to you guys in the next one. Alright, hey guys, so I'm back with my dad again, and we are recapping another episode of Game of Thrones. And this episode was called